So you'll be able to relax with them and just be as SP as you want to be. They'll like that. They're like SPs. So if you want to go off in that direction, they'll appreciate it. And they're always down for sensor stuff because they're in the sensor world really, really deeply. So let's put them on the possibility list. Now moving on to the other NFs. Let's take INFP off the list immediately because they'll be so freaking emotionally volatile. You guys will just not last a week. Let's take ENFJ off the list because you already said you don't like them.
Well, I didn't say I didn't like them. I just said they were the wrong kind of INFJ.
All right, so they're off the list. And how about another INFJ? It's actually a common successful match.
I mean, I'd have to find one. I mean, like, I understand that there's some here, but I guess I mean more so I'd have to find one that I meshed with.
Well, this is just narrowing it down to the
Right.
ones you'd start looking and considering more. This is just assume that you could find one that you'd like. Like, would you want an INFJ? Let's say you can find any girl of any type. So you have to choose between all 16 types. You got 16 girls lined up. You like them all, but one type you'd want more than another. So, how do you think about INFJ as your forever partner, girlfriend, whatever?
I mean, if you're looking for an answer, I don't fucking know. There's so much nuance that occurs in everyday situations. It's in how somebody reacts to you, not just how they get around to deciding how to react, but they're in the moment, and even how they react to you in the moment may not be like, even if it's a negative thing, it may end up contributing to something further down the line that's helpful or positive. So it's like, as far as that goes, I don't know. It would entirely depend on the individual. Uh, However, the reason why I'm interested in this typology stuff and trying to narrow it down like you're doing is that I think that I stand better odds with sort of a particular type of person, quote unquote. But I said the ESTP thing, but I also sort of sidestepped that and alluded to um, just some more like aspects of a person that I think I would enjoy being around. Like you were talking about, like just sort of watching somebody doing a lot of stuff. I'd obviously want to do something with them. Um, I'd actually want to do plenty of things with them, but I also don't mind sort of standing by the sidelines and watching them do cool stuff. And I'm a bit more hesitant. It's not that I'm like discounting, like an INFJ or something like that, but I'm a bit more hesitant in a situation where I'd find myself trying to, you know, motivate the person to not pursue specific things, but to just pursue things, just to like wake up and be like, I'm gonna do shit today.
All right, your lack of enthusiasm has led me to take INFJ off your list. And now we're moving on to ENFP.
Better.
What's your opinion on ENFP? Those outgoing, bubbly, happy go lucky, um, active people. They're very active. They do stuff in the physical world.
I think I like. I think I like ENFPs a bit less than ENTPs. Actually, I'm not sure if a bit less is right. I like ENFPs more when ENTPs like are using too much FI than I really like ENFPs more because it's not as grody. Um, but I don't know. It'd be sort of I think if they're gonna, I mean, an any dom is possible, but if they're gonna be an any dom, they got to be a particular kind of any dom. A more sensor-like any dom. But
So, is that overall positive or negative?
I mean, if ESFP is not making the list, then I don't think ENFP should make the list.
Fair enough. So, no NFs. Statistically, NFs have very high satisfaction rates together. But anyway, in your case, we're gonna just move
Because I'm
on
decided
to
to be
the.
contrarian and everything.
That's fine. So we're moving on to the rationals, the NTs, and you did say that you would prefer someone more level-headed than emotional. So you're in the right ballpark here with the rationals. Let's see. We got ENTJ. Let's just take them off immediately. Yeah, it wouldn't be fun. And we got.
Are you hearing the odds dwindling, Audra? Can you hear it?
No, there's. Oh, you only need one, Ken. That's the thing to hold
I was
on
going to
to
say, going
here.
about his odds fashion seems a bit odd to me, but whatever.
You only need one, just one, the right one. It's all about if you know what you're looking for, then you can notice them when you see them. And that's
Then I can
just,
attempt to lasso her, and she can beat the shit out of me.
just how you like her to. So, we got ENTJ is off the list, and then we got ENTP, which you already stated an opinion on, which was that you weren't into them as a partner, I think.
I could be, but if they're, I said I wasn't really into the Fs, but as far as an any dom goes, the ENTPs, I don't know, they could make the list. I'm not discounting them just yet. They're ENTPs are still in the fight.
I'm gonna put them on the list by the simple fact that you're here in ENTP land, and
True,
you
and I
seem content enough. You don't seem to be suffering too much. So,
all right.
as much as you might complain a little here and there, they're on the list.
Yeah, you've already had like more ENTP exposure than most. You still survived it.
And so, what's your, what would it be like if you were with someone who's very, very quiet and solitary and likes to argue?
Quiet and solitary and likes to argue. What the fuck?
Yeah, if you do talk to them, they're gonna want to argue with you.
What the fuck type are you describing?
Just what's your opinion on that type of person?
Okay, quiet, and they're gonna want to argue.
Yeah,
I
just
don't.
would you want that person or not?
Shit. I mean, I don't like the fact that they're quiet. I think if they want to argue, I prefer that they sort of show me.
They're really quiet, and super introverted.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so INTJ is off the list. Yeah. Hi, Ken. I'm your neighborhood INTP, and I'm here to talk to you about INTPs and how we'll just make you so satisfied. Um, we're relatively cool-headed. We're fun and playful. We like to get out and do stuff. We can talk to you for hours about anything. Um, we appreciate you for um, your mysteriousness, your NI.
I was gonna say feelings and moisture.
Fascinating. Your moisture makes us feel comfortable enough to let our own moisture out. You're safe, so we can express our feelings and not worry about getting eaten by an ESTP. are called. Yeah. So INTP is going on this list, whether you like it or not,
Okay.
because I know what's good for you. That's your list right here. That's your list. Congratulations.
Well, wonderful. What do you think, Audra? Is that a good list?
I have no idea. Doesn't seem like an unreasonable list, but my evidence or reasoning for most of that is non-existent. So I'm the person people come to when they need to like get rid of a person, not try to find one.
Is there any type on that list that he should get rid of?
I don't know.
Audra's like, that's a type. That's not an actual person. If there's an actual person, then I'll get rid of them. Zach doesn't like ISFJs.
I think he needs an ESTP. I'm backing that horse for the moment.
He needs a what?
I think he needs an ESTP. You got some hot Jack.
Wait, what was that? I didn't catch that last bit.
What? I was talking to Zach. He said he had some ISFJs to get rid of.
Okay.
I haven't had to do that in a while, actually. This one's at random. I don't like permanently dispose of them. I just like get them off your back and out of your way. Yeah, that's like usually how it works. When kin types are like stalking a friend of mine, then they're like, this person is following me. You're like, okay. Although I usually don't have to do it for ESTPs. They can usually take care of themselves. They think it's funny when people follow them around. They're like, there's all these people following me around. They're like, what should I do with them? I'm like, I don't know.
It's like there's these people following me around, and there's some weird dude screaming that we should be together because he read some Russian translation of a theory.
The general, I think probably they're a good response they have is they just start insulting them increasingly vehemently and see who can take it, and that's like you're still there after they've thrown all your insults. Then they'll take a second thought. They'll be like, oh,
I'd still keep up the pursuit and be like, I was raised by ENTPs.
You got game there.
Also, because I think one of my friends might be an ESTP. Another one, I'm not sure what he would be. He might be an ENTP, although he might also fucking be an ESTP.
I feel like ENTPs will insult you, but they don't actually care what you do because they're amused by the funniness of their insult.
Right. They're just insulting you for fun.
Although that's mildly amusing, like I feel like ESTPs are actually like they just keep sticking the knife deeper. They're good at that.
I told you, Ken, an ESTP will cut you up and eat you alive.
There's this just this theory I have. I don't even know if it correlates with ESTP because it was sort of an idea that I had before I ever knew about anything about like ESTPs or typology or whatever. But it was like I sort of get myself into a pickle sometimes because I might encounter people that were just sort of being a dick to me, and I was like, I don't really like this. But at the same time, it's like I kind of wanted to hang around them, and sort of Audra, what you're describing, like it's sort of how I got into a friend circle that I had that I played online with. Is they would pretty much like we'd play games and they'd kill me repeatedly because they were better, and I'd be like, guys, stop killing me, and they'd do it again because I said stop, you know. But no, they'd like make jokes and whatnot, and time passed a year or so. I don't remember the exact time frame, but at some point I was in. Like it was a strange transition. Wasn't like a shit ton of camaraderie, but
Well,
I
they'll bring
definitely
you
wasn't
cookies
out.
random, like once a year. They'll get this FE thing going, and they'll be like, I should make people cookies. And they think, what people do I know that I like enough?
Big cookies. And then
like,
you're like,
cookies. Or they will send you whiskey in the mail when you have when you're laid up or something. Whiskey and cookies. I'm telling you, they're good to have around.
That's a list from a TI perspective. You got NI, you've got a very powerful NI. So that TI list was notwithstanding, if you come across a person that your NI is telling you yes to, they might be the exception, and you should follow your heart.
true. Yeah, I guess I sort of latched on to ESTP just because it seemed like the corollary with sort of an idea that I had in my head, but sort of ignoring typology. I do know that sometimes when I drive by this particular gym on occasion, I see the gals there gearing up for a kickboxing fight and they're punching the air. I feel a little tuggle in my pants.
ESTP is good for fooling around with, if that's what you're looking for in your pants.
I mean, I wouldn't so much mind the fooling around with being part of the deal, but that's not my only pursuit.
Are you looking for an emotional connection?
In one way or another. Sometimes I think overtly emotional interactions can be gratifying in a more immediate sense, but I don't know. Like if people are kind of like me in their expressiveness, or they like use a shit ton of words, or just like pleasantries to try to convey an idea, I feel like less comfortable than when somebody's sort of short and like has more difficulty like maybe like being like fakely nice for an extended period of time. I don't mean fakely nice like people who are more like me or like just have that in their being, but for me it's like an almost a reactive thing. Like I have to keep myself from like somebody sort of pisses me off, like is as long as like they might piss me off and then be like like, excuse me, and then just reactively I'll be like, oh, sorry, and I'll like move out of their way. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm mad at them. What the fuck was that? But I don't know, but because I have more of a penchant for being timid, I would maybe timid's not the right word. Agreeable, perhaps. I'd prefer somebody who's more overtly just like whatever the fuck's going on, like they just sort of put it out there. I don't know if that was an answer to a question. Sorry, NI free flows. It doesn't fucking free association.
It's a good thing. Just go with it. Let it flow.
Let it flow. Let it flow. Oh, so apparently, Audra, I sort of had difficulty believing this. I think I still do, but apparently ESTPs need help not being so serious.
I can see that.
What was that?
I can see that sometimes. I think you're kind of serious sometimes.
I don't know if you noticed, but kind of a goofball.
No.
All right, let's put ESTP on your list. I mean, I'm sure there's a few out there that are not as bad as
Rain,
the worst
I
ones.
don't want to shit on your list. I'm haggling right now. As I said, we're in the realm of ideas. Anything goes currently.
Yeah, you're right. Totally.
Anything goes. I mean, like I might find an ENTJ out there that I get this weird thing going on with, where it's like it shouldn't work, but for some reason,
They'd be dominant at least.
As this isn't, I'm gonna try to go to sleep. So either will or won't. I'm sure I'll see you later at some point.
Until
See you
next time.
someday somewhere.
Until next time, Audra.
It's 1 in the morning. I'm gonna pass this torch on to my
feathered friend
in the other side of the world where it's morning. So I'm gonna go to bed. It was nice talking with you, Ken.
You too. Thanks for parsing through my NI streams.
My pleasure. See you. Talk to you later.
See ya. Well, now that we have the room, how shall we take over the world in IDOM? How shall we take what is rightfully ours from the bourgeoisie?
I don't know. We need to manipulate the INTJs to manipulate the ENFPs to manipulate the ISFJs and onwards.
Quite potentially. Quite possibly. So I don't know how much of that you caught, but Rain was trying to discern what types might work well with me. And he did not want ESTP on that list.
Well, my best friend is INTJ, like I was just saying. But we get on famously because we've been on vacations and, we've just been friends for ages. And I think it works really well because she can stimulate. I mean, I've got pretty strong TI, I think, or TE can't be that strong, but because I think my dad might be an INTJ or something like that, and he helped to coax my brain, and I think that's why as an INFJ I can use that function quite well.
It's Luna.
And And my friend, she comes at me with information,
Right.
and I come back to her with feelings. And she appreciates that, apparently. Apparently she knew that all along, and I was just like, okay, so I've just found out about this MBTI, and you've been sitting there. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, maybe an INTJ. I guess it's strange when he mentioned INTJ. I wasn't thinking about a female INTJ just because I don't think of females when I think of INTJs. I think,
Yeah, she's pretty rare.
I think of sweaty, angry dudes talking about anime. Just guys that are just like, I'm going to continue practicing chaos magic because the world is pain. Oh, your physics teacher might be INTJ?
I hear they are pretty rare for women.
Yeah.
The thing about finding people, though, Ken, is that you got to
leave the house.
You've just got to pursue what you want to do, and that comes first, not the people. And even when you get there, it's not necessarily the people that you find, or because I'm doing my 12-step meetings, and as you can imagine, it's not. She loves Batman. My friend loves Batman. When you get there, you don't find everybody. It's not like this room where everybody's like fucking over a good few IQ points over 100. It's not like that, and that's real life, though, isn't it? I mean, but it's and I've learned to accept coming to this room. I've learned to accept that my massive shortfall in terms of being able to get on with people and just being able to fit in.
Yeah.
And when I factor that in, I can fit in better. But as long as I'm like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is that? Why the fuck is it 9:30 in the fucking morning? Who the fuck? I'm gonna have to go down, see who it is. Be right back.
Well, I haven't seen you in a while, Luna. How goes things in the land of TI and more TI? Aha! Indeed. Exams, man, yeah. It's interesting hearing you talk about school because I'm like, yeah, I didn't particularly appreciate school too much. Well, I'm a feeler, man. I like my feelings. They didn't really have much of a place in school. I didn't get into the arts like theater and stuff like that. So I tried taking physics though. I flunked out of physics.
It's just a guy here to check the gas. Just chatting to someone online, mate. That's all. Yeah. So, where was I?
We should ask the water meter guy deeply personal questions.
Probably not a good idea.
Oh, water meter man. Can you hear me?
Not the water meter, the gas.
Ah.
The water meter guy's different.
Okay. Gas meter guy. Can you hear me?
I don't let them in for as long as possible, and my rates go down. No, I've got headphones on.
Say this to him. Gas meter man. Come to me, gas meter man. I beckon you from across the ocean.
That'd be weird.
Gas meter man. Which one? Atlantic. Or Pacific if you wanted to go like in the opposite direction and take longer.
You know what? I've never heard anyone do it that way around. They usually say Pacific for specific. You just said the Pacific Ocean. Nice one.
Yeah. The Pacific Ocean. But yeah. Oh
Yeah.
look. It's Neptune now. Or at least I think it is.
Okay.
Oh, it is Neptune. Yes, it is. Look, Neptune. Look, Luna's here. You love Luna. Luna's your friend. Luna is your great pal, your chum. There you go. Look at that. I like pairing people together for conversations because I feel like I'm playing Animal Crossing. That's what I do sometimes. I'll invite a friend on Skype. I'll be like, hey, you should talk to this person. And then they talk together. I just sit back and smile. I'm like, this is wonderful. This is beautiful. I love this.
Oh, okay.
But so yeah, tell me, Kestrel. Tell me about your
I
songs.
couldn't do that at this point. I can barely find anyone to talk to me at this point.
Oh, you can find people.
I'm just being silly.
You can find people. You at least appear to give more of a care. I'll frame it that way. You give more of a care than some other people that I've heard.
It's not finding people to talk to. It's finding people that I want to talk to,
Right.
tolerate. That's the
Like me,
INFJ.
you love me.
I like you. Yeah.
You can't wait to get online and talk to me because I just
Wake up, spring out of bed, and I leap into the front room.
And I wake up
Smash the
before I
envelope.
put on my makeup. I say a little prayer for you.
I did say a little prayer actually, but then I was like,
Forever,
"Fuck that.
forever,
I need to go and
my heart and I will
get
love you forever. Yeah.
thanks for that."
Well, I mean, I wanted to serenade you.
It was beautiful.
You want me to do it again?
Maybe tomorrow.
I'll take that as a yes. Pretty sure I didn't say yes. So,
Careful with my words.
what was that?
I'm careful with my words, but not
Yeah.
careful enough to make a bird, obviously.
Well, that's just naysaying. Some people I think are smart and interesting and all that, but I just can tell we're on different waves. Kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm having a stroke or if that wasn't worded properly. Some people I think are smart and interesting and all.
It's not the best
Some
syntax.
some people I think are smart and interesting and all. That, but I just can't tell an officer. You tell me go do it, I go and run and G.I. Joe. It's from the pork chop sandwiches video.
Some people I think are smart and interesting and all that, but by the time I've left prison,
Yeah, be all cool and casual. Yeah.
well, yeah,
What's that? Hey.
some people, yeah, are on different wavelengths, but you know, you can make an effort to meet them halfway. Too far gone.
Well, in some situations, it's not meeting them halfway. It's meeting them 75% of the way, and that goes both ways. It is true, but sometimes it's like, let's talk about. Well, you know, there was this one college football team that was playing. This team, it was our team. Our team was playing.
God,
It was our team.
that's not
playing,
interesting, though, is it?
And they were like, and you know, we sent our kid to college. That one college, you know, with the church where they grew up at. Yeah, you know, and it's like they're talking about shit, and I'm just like, you know, I'll entertain it. I'll be like, oh yeah, that's cool. I'm like, I'm actually surprised at my ability to bullshit conversations on things I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
Like people
Well,
be talking about cars,
yeah.
and I'm like, well, what kind of cars are you into? And they'll be like, and they start naming specific things. I'm like, I don't know that. I'm like, you do any mechanical work? Like you good with engines or whatnot? And they start just saying random shit. I'm like, oh yeah, it's pretty interesting. You got your own garage space, or like where do you find the time to do that? And they're like, oh well, you know, actually, like I got a little something set up on my garage. I'm not doing anything big time yet, but I'm like, you know, like I'm trying to get the funds necessary to like move in, you know, like trying to get my own like, you know, repair shop going on. Oh, okay, yeah, I get you. So it's like, when did you start working on that? They're like, well, you know, when I was like 16. It's like me and my dad were like putting something together, and then they say more car references that I don't understand. I'm like, yeah, that is like, wow. I mean, you sound like you've really been coming a long way. And they're like, yeah, it's been a long time coming. I'm like, well, shit. So glad I heard that. And I'm like, I'm actually fairly excited when they're telling, like, if somebody can actually frame it in a way that it's like they're talking about the process of their life and like how it's been improving and how they've been connecting with what they're interested in. That's what I'm interested in, but I can't handle all the other technical shit. So it's like, that's what I'm trying to fish for, but it's like,
Yeah, that is a good angle, actually. Yeah.
So it's like,
as long as you don't get lost in pretending that you know about things that you don't know about.
Well, if I can sort of bullshit my way through just like framing it through asking questions, then I can actually carry them along the NI wave and they don't know it, because I'm like sort of giving this overview of like, okay, so like when'd you start doing that? Okay, yeah. All right, so it's like it's been an influence in your life for a considerable amount of time then. They're like, well, I mean, you know, not too much. I sort of gave it up. I'm like, well, why'd you give it up? And they're like, well, you know, I just got moving on different things. I'm like, well, I mean, it's something that you love, though. It's like, well, yeah, it's something I'm interested in. Whatnot. It's like, well, I mean, I think you owe it to yourself to pursue it, at least in some capacity, because it makes you happy. And yeah.
I would feel like such a fraud in that conversation. Not saying that I would be a fraud or whatever, but I couldn't maintain it. Probably just out of fear of being discovered.
I sound fluid. Because I'm not in the actual situation. I would be a bit more slower and a bit more deliberate in the actual situation. But talking with famous people, you know, online here has this interesting ability where I think I come off as more NE, possibly, here. Just because it doesn't feel as serious or dire. And I think when honestly though, it's not just because we're online. It's when I don't know if you have this, but when I get to talking to people who are like my friends, I can go into sort of like that just intuition sort of framing of things where it's like it's just free flowing and it's just, you know, whatever the fuck comes to mind. But yeah, it's like I can do that with friends more, but then like when I'm just talking to random people, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like I'm trying to package these products of like identity, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that is. Majority of my mindscape is an ephemeral ocean. Things come and things go. I came from the dust. I shall return to it. And you're talking to me about doilies?
One sec, hang on.
Yeah, actually, I'd like for somebody to talk to me about doilies. I don't know what they are. What are they, tablecloths? Are they just for decoration? I don't mind if they're just for decoration, but...
I have new vehicle anxiety. I just misplaced my keys for 1 second and I got a heart attack.
Tack. Neptune's like,
yeah.
The gas pedal is so gorgeous. The gas pedal.
Where did you get that mat that's on the floor there? It's a
That
beautiful
mat.
mat.
Where did you get that, man? Oh, in the interior. Yeah, it's vinyl. Oh, vinyl. I can see Neptune just be like, "Well, take me around to the back. Let's see the trunk. What's the trunk spot? Is that padded cushioning? You got padded cushioning in the back, didn't you?
Sean Powell.
Mathematical induction. That sounds like you're trying to give birth to a formula.
Another book for this thing because I was spelling wrong.
So now here we got your water meter, and here we got your gas meter.
Oh, that's
And you see, the problem is here that you don't have a house. It's just a meter, and there ain't no fucking pipe.
And the grow tent.
That's the problem. Oh, yeah, that's the problem. It's pretty bad. They get that fixed, yeah. Yeah, it turns out the Queen's been stealing all the water.
Yeah, well, it's a grow tent. It's an actual grow tent.
I thought I was hoping you'd say it. I thought you go, oh, I've got a little skunk on the go or something. Right,
No,
well, so
Now we're talking a British jib that no one else understands. It's like our own secret language. I bet we're doing a handshake off the camera right now. See, there we go. No one has a fucking clue what we're talking about. I don't mind us doing English things. Time could have been so much more. The time is precious, I know. Time could have been so much more.
Sensors respond much better to me these days.
Really?
Yeah, it's easier.
It's-
It's an easier life.
It's probably because you wear pants now.
Yeah. I don't just automatically enter conversations with my dick out.
Yeah.
It's solved a lot of problems.
I do that, except it's a metaphorical dick and it's my NI. And it's just out on the table and people are like, oh, we did not ask for that.
Yeah, that sounds like me as well. But
I just walk into a room and I'm like, who wants to enter an ephemeral landscape where there is no real sense of time? Here in the timescape we observe other forms of time other than the one we are in. We position ourselves outside of the temporal dimension in order to gain access to the insights and familiar patterns of the rhythm and hum of life. And they're like, yeah,
I don't care for that.
I really just want to get my fucking pie, mate.
Have you got the change?
Really just... Oh, Neptune's asking if you got better looking.
I did get better looking, but that's because of the motor scooter and having to wear the duds.
Oh,
It makes me look like Tom
a sensor.
Cruise.
Makes you look like somebody who uses their body for existing.
Yeah.
It's very, very strange.
And I've become a little more bolshy. Like I don't know if I told you about what I did at the cinema when I went to the cinema yesterday with my dad. Very quiet cinema, nothing going on. There was only about eight people max in there. But before we went in, I went to get a McDonald's. I came in with it, and I usually can hide it because I was usually carrying a bag in the past and stuff. But they said, oh, you can't go in. The guy came over and said, you can't take that in. And I was like, well, what are you going to do about it? and he goes, what? I was like, what? I'm going to go in there. I've paid to go in. I'm going to go in and watch the film. And I'm going to take my food in. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to stop me? Call the police? And he goes, why are you being like that? I just told you can't go in. It's like he didn't understand that I don't care for the rules. To him, I understand his personality type. The rules are just to be followed. Everyone should just automatically follow the rules and do whatever the rules are. And it's not a problem, is it? It's just the rules. But to me, it's like you're ruining my day. You're ruining my time. This is me and my dad's time together watching a Marvel film. You're getting in the way. But I was still cool. But he didn't understand. And in the end, he capitulated and said, sort of, oh, you can go and eat it.
See, now it's really funny that you said that. It's really funny that you said that because I got a friend. I don't know what his type is. He could be INTP. He could be fucking ISFP. He's my best friend. I don't know what the fuck his type is. I just really struggle to pinpoint him. But yeah, he works at a gas station. Had this dude come in and basically present him with the same dilemma. It's like, what are you going to do? Call the cops? And he was like, you know what? That is an excellent idea. Walked over to the phone, called the cops.
Yeah, but what was that? Was more. I mean, what was the issue with the gas station?
It was a bit different. I agree. It was basically some dude came in, tried to buy tobacco. It's like, okay, I'm gonna need to card you. It's like, I don't have my ID on me. It's like, just sell it to me. It's like, no. So then that dude leaves, goes out to a car. He watches the dude leave, get into the car with his friend. His friend pulls the car forward an inch, stops it, gets out, walks in, and attempts to buy tobacco. And he's like, no, I see him with you. I'm not going to sell to you because I know you're just going to give it to him. It's like, well, what the fuck, man? And then that's when the conversation proceeds to, well, why don't you just call the cops?
Yeah, but that's.
He's like, well, that is a wonderful idea. Calls the cops, and the cop gets there. He's like, yeah, he can't sell that to you. He's not allowed to.
See, that's doing something illegal. This is a matter of, a civil property rights dispute, and they want to. By the way, and I never signed any contract or got into a contract which included these stipulations. Do you know what I mean? We just bought the tickets. They never specified anything like that, and that's the contract to see the movie. Everything else that tells me what I can and can't do with my property, is bullshit. It's just something they do to. Well, so they want to do that. That is technically fine, but I'm pushing that's within their right to ask people to do that, and they can enforce that any way they like. But they will decrease the value of their product by doing so. They need the customer more than the customer needs them, and that's why there's 8 people in there, and I'm perfectly happy to go home and wait for it to come on to download torrent. So they need me more than I need them in this situation. There's no legal dispute really. It's just what they want to do. What I want to do, and if they tried to enforce that, it would completely disrupt the movie for a bunch of people, therefore lowering the value of their product, and the police would just tell me not to do it, and that would be it.
See, this is one of those instances of the fabled power that I knew existed, but I'm getting a better idea of it. It's the INFJ tapping into the SE and being like, well, let's talk volition. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, and I think it's the motorbike, because my dad didn't like it. He didn't like being disturbed.
Right.
But he needs to learn to deal with it.
I'm my own man, Dad.
I want to eat the McDonald's in the cinema, Dad. God.
Is that the sound you made in the cinema?
Yeah. Why can't you support me, Dad? Oh.
She just started screaming like Patrick Star until they left. No. Yeah.
But there's a little bit of childishness to it, but you know, it's like it's a problem that I don't like. So I mean, he needs to allow me to do those things, because you see, the only person that was getting unsettled really was the guy who I was talking to and my dad. I'm fine. I can cool down. I'm just trying to find out. You've told me that I can't do something with my property. I'm trying to find out what you're going to do about it. You know what I mean? It's not. It's logical to me. I just want to. You've come up to me, Johnny Big Balls, telling me what I can and can't do. So how are you going to make me do that? We need more of that in this world, you see.
Yeah.
That's why I feel all right about doing it. It's too many people just go along with shitty little rules like that, and then they get used to just going along with it, and then before you know it, Hitler's back again. Only it's me this time, and you're not going to like it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like a somewhat censor like INFJ, not because I'm good with doing censor related shit, but because I'm actually kind of, well, I'm a backpedal here, because there's some ways that I'm fairly conventional. There's some ways that I like routine stuff. I like doing things kind of like how a censor would, but there's that added level of just what the fuckness that I like to throw on top of it that I think shakes things up.
Right.
It's not necessarily like a physical what the fuckness. I need somebody to help me with that, but as far as like just ideas go, I'll just be going about doing my regular business. I'll just be like, clock into work, similar time that I normally do, many days during the week, but then I go talk to my coworker and we'll just say the craziest shit to each other. It's like he'll be taking a floor machine back around a corner, and I'll be like following behind him, and he won't know I'm there, and I'll just follow him for like a good 30 seconds. And just sort of pop up beside him, and I'll just really tap into that NI free association and just say random shit that he's not expecting. I remember going on a rant about a movie that I thought Rachel Weisz was in. Took about like 35, 40 seconds for me to rant, and then I ended it with asking him whether or not he liked ramen. Like the noodles.
Yeah.
It's sort of referred to it as intuitive terrorism. Just that jumping from one thing to another with no regard for continuity.
I don't know.
Speaking of leprosy, Luna, what do you know about leprosy? No, sorry, I was making a joke there. What were you actually going to say?
I don't know whether. I actually think I may be somewhere in the middle in terms of NE, because I'm. Although when people say, "Oh, that's NE," somebody said like that's NE. I was like, well, I don't think it is, because what they're talking about, what I'm talking about, is an observation or two observations from the world, but they are so filtered and processed through my NI from time that that it is NI, and there's things there in between that mean it's that, and so I don't know, but I do. I don't fully understand everything with MBTI yet, but it does seem like I'm somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle on J and P as well, and F and T.
Here, I'll link this. Luna's probably seen this before because she's seen everything. She's like the keeper of secrets. But
Okay.
So, sort of that free flowing thing, or like that free association, that's more NI in it. Like upon reading that, I sort of realized that because it's like a lot of times people were like, yeah, Kenny is like pretty good NE and stuff like that. But it's like that free association shit is NI. That's not NE. Like that just sort of coming up with stuff for like the primary, if not no other reason that you're coming up with it is because it has some sort of personal significance to you. Like that's more NI stuff. Like NE is like trying to find like the point or like the essence of something, and NI has to like stop moving and let shit flow around it. Because it's like if you're actively moving to find something, you're stirring up the water, and you like need it to sort of maybe not peter out, but it's like you're trying to pay attention to the waves, and if you're making your own waves, you're not paying attention to the waves, and that's what NI is trying to do. It's trying to get a vibe or a rhythm for things. So if you're swimming around in it, you're not paying attention to the flow.
I'm not sure I follow.
So like, I don't know if it directly relates to what you're talking about. I kind of thought maybe it did. Well, just because you said that they were calling it NE and you thought it was NI, that's what made me think of it. So like when I'm telling jokes or whatnot, and like they label it as NE, just sort of like immediate off the cuff, just like, well, this or that, huh? It's like there might be some NE in there, but it's like it's not by necessity connected. It's not like I processed what they were saying and then tried to riff off of that. It's I processed what they were saying and something came to mind, and it was just sort of like I may think of the word penguin and then say peasant, and if you ask me why, I'd say I don't know. I could try to come up with a reason and say, I said peasant because maybe it sounds like penguin,
Yeah.
And like what gets fun is when there's like no discernible connection. Like the name Herschel. Like I just thought in my head the name Herschel, then I thought of Hershey's, like Hershey's chocolate. Then I thought of the word blood, and I'm like, okay, I understand the first two, but why does that one? How is that connected? That's the thing. It's just like what you said reminded me of this event that happened before. Which one's that indicative of, Luna? I'm not looking at the page right now, so. Well, there you go, Kestrel. Me meandering about shit just further confirmed.
I think what it is with me is that I can do that. That is where I start off, but I can produce it into rather than it being somebody says something and then I'm talking about me again. I can form that into a maybe like any looking observation about them and about what's going on.
What form does the observations take?
Well, like this, for instance, this guy was in a meet. We were in a meeting, and this guy was like talking a lot, and I could see he was almost like had Tourette's almost, and he was sat there moving around, and he couldn't stop himself from like saying things. Like, but you could tell he knew he wasn't supposed to say the things, and he was like, trying to control himself a bit. And so I made the observation based on the fact that I'm a little bit like that, and what my experience is like. And when he stood up because he had to go and smoke some crack because it was nice weather.
What?
I tried to speak to him and tried to relate to him. I was like, you seem like the kind of guy who's brain is going at 1,000 miles an hour, and not just your brain, your feelings, and that was based on like